So this study made me think about Jordan Peterson because I know he had a struggle with benzodiazepines for quite a while, and it was quite public, and I didn't really know much about them, but I discovered this study today when looking into sleep, and it's about sleep medication and mortality, and they also include benzodiazepines as part of this study. Now, this study looked at the mortality risk in a follow-up 13 to 15 years later in people who, either use sleep medications or didn't, what types they used, and also how often they use them. And they found that people who had any use of sleep medications had a twofold risk for mortality. So when you think about it, that's quite like a big potential risk increase if you are going to be taking sleep medications. Now, I read through the covariates, which is like the things they all tried to keep the same, like the physical health, mental health. But I didn't really see them mention that people who are taking sleep medication might have other issues such as like trouble sleeping, which I don't know if they took that into account. And if you're having trouble sleeping, you're more likely to have health issues. Or even if you're struggling to sleep, that might be a symptom of stress, which could also affect your mortality. So I think that's like important to take into account. Now, the highest risk was for people who were using benzodiazepines, I believe daily, and it seemed to have a 3.1 hazard ratio. So my perception is that they're 3.1 times more likely to die during a set period than those who don't use any medication. So as you can see from this graph here, the benzodiazepines daily was the worst one by a long shot. Now you've got none and sleep drugs or Z drugs non-daily. And it's weird that people who took the sleep drugs non-daily actually had a better survival rate than the people who took nothing. But I'm not really going to focus on that. I think you can see the two bottom lines here, which are the worst fractional survival rate, are benzodiazepines daily and non-daily. So when you get to like that 5,500 day mark, the fractional survival is hitting like 0.8, which is like, a very big difference to those none or Z drugs non-daily users. I guess this just like also reinforces the risks which Jordan Peterson was talking about, and he was talking to Joe Rogan about how potentially dangerous they are. And I believe someone else has said that benzodiazepines are the only thing that you can actually die when you withdraw from. I know alcohol you can as well, but anyway, these are just quotes and obviously statements I've heard here and there. Anyway, I thought it was quite an interesting study looking into sleep medication, benzodiazepines, and so it was cool to be able to relate it to Jordan Peterson because I love his stuff. He's really cool. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I will leave a link to the study down below. And yeah, thanks.